Sometimes, if I'm feeling a little bit mischievous, I just join the lobby and I say, "Hello, my lovely teammates." And then I kind of test the waters to see what is the mental of this team. Because sometimes they tell me, "Get candy" or "Keep yourself safe." I mean, that's also an answer, but then I do know what my team is like, you know. So it's
Shaco is one of the most hated champions in League of Legends. Since his release date back in October 2009, he's been tilting players in every lane. From AD Shaco to AP Shaco, from top lane to mid lane, and from jungle to support. Shaco is a trick of all trades. Originally, he was intended and almost always played as a jungler. But this player managed to hit Challenger by playing Shaco anywhere but in the jungle. Let's find out how he did it and stick around to learn how he is different than other Shacos.
My name is Arnold, also known as Shaco Mid Lane. I'm a Shaco one-trick pony. I used to play in mid lane a lot. That's what I'm most known for. Some people might know me from the HappyChimeNoises video. And yeah, I've been playing League since Season 3. I peaked in Challenger last season, about around 600, 700 LP. And yeah, why do I play it? I play Shaco because he's just a lot of fun, honestly. If I play any other champion, I'm somewhat bored. And when I play Shaco, I feel like a psychological mastermind, and it brings a lot of joy. And when they get angry at it, I don't know, I get some joy out of it. I'm a little bit sadistic in some way, I guess. And yeah, and yeah, the strong points of the champion are mainly that he's very annoying to deal with, and he has a lot of CC and outplay potential. He's very slippery, so there's always a new combination you can use to escape, which makes them a lot of fun. I used to play mid lane and top lane, but yeah, Riot seems to not really like Shaco that much, mid and top. They say they're nerfing Shaco support, but whenever they do, it just affects mid and top Shaco. So now, in my opinion, mid and top Shaco in patch, or well, season 14, I think mid and top Shaco are dead, and I now play him support. So I kind of accept that I'm going to be hated. You will get hate for it when you're lane Shaco or support Shaco. I just accept it. I'm like, okay, I'll most likely be flamed for it. Uh, that's fine. That's up to them.
Yeah.
I might as well play into that.
Since season 14, Arnold is mainly playing Shaco as support. He learned to harness his teammates and his enemies' toxicity to his advantage. Before we go deep into his trick, we must first understand the difference between AD and AP Shaco and why Arnold prefers to play AP Shaco every time. But first, a word of our sponsor. Just kidding, drink water and stay hydrated, guys.
AD Shaco is a lot more early game oriented. So you have Hill of Blades, you have AD, and you rely on snowballing. You need to snowball as AD Shaco. If you don't snowball early, you are screwed. As AP Shaco, it's a lot more mid to late game oriented. Early game, you're kinda crap in all honesty. And mid to late game, you start to shine, where you can set up objectives and everything. But you don't rely as much on snowballing. As AD Shaco, if you're behind, you are done for. If you're AP Shaco, you have CC, you have cooldown reduction. You can still be very annoying. You can always do something, I guess. AD Shaco doesn't have that. AD Shaco also relies more on the element of surprise and on surprising enemies who are walking on their own if they're not near their teammates. That's where AD Shaco excels. Later on in the team fights, it's okay, you queue in, you try to one tap the, I don't know, AD carry, the squishy, and then your Q's on cooldown. So good luck, mate. Good luck. So yeah, mid to late game AP is superior if you ask me. Early game AD is way stronger. But what makes AP so much more fun to me than AD is the fact that you can rely on mind games. You can like psychologically outplay your opponents. You place a box here, you place a box there in advance, and then you try to bait them in it. And with your ultimate, you can make them chase the clone. And if for example, a Tryndamere or a Kha'Zix jumps on your clone and it explodes, that's a lot of damage, and then you can burst them and turn the entire fight around. And so that's why AP is, in my opinion, the most fun.
Since his pivot from mid lane to support in season 14, Arnold had to revamp himself and learn the matchups for bottom lane. Shaco is a favorable pick in some cases and a useless one in others. Here is Arnold his strategy to survive Shaco's rather weak early game and at what point he starts being useful.
The first phase is the AFK phase. This is the phase where your AD carry starts flaming you, calling you names, and where they say that you are absolute garbage and that you should uninstall. That's the, I would say, the first 5 minutes. That's before you have Lost Chapter, before even a Sapphire Crystal. Because honestly, level 1 to 3, Shaco is nothing but a pink ward, a walking pink ward. That's it. You're a minion. Nothing you can do. Then, once you have a bit of mana, you can start placing some boxes. Then with the cooldown reduction, it gets even better. AP, it gets even better. But until then, until, I don't know, minutes 7 to 10, you're useless when you get rid of your mana issues, because you're very mana hungry. And yeah, if you have Lost Chapter, that's wonderful. If you have your mana flow band stacked, wonderful. You become a champion. Not a strong one yet. You really need that item. You need, as Shaco support, you need your Luden's item and the support item. When you have those, you have quite a bit of damage and cooldown reduction, and then it gets fun. I would say the main power spike is your first item.
As soon as Arnold gets his mana items, he starts harassing the enemy team with his Jack in the Box. There are some cases where he gets his mana items rather late due to hard matchups. Here are Arnold's his most likes and disliked counters and how he deals with them, as a hard counter can hold his power spike back.
Chanters like Karma, Lulu, just champions that, those champions are very annoying. The non-hook champions. The engage and hook champions are great for Shaco, but if it's a Janna or Karma, it's a bit rough. You have to play it very safely, and you would place a box next to you so you can always queue behind the box so you're safe. If I play into a hook champion, I really like it because I feel like I can outplay them. If they hook, I place a box and I just laugh in their faces. But when it's a Janna and I throw my E, she shields it and I have no damage. So unless they go in and they are very greedy and they walk into my box, there's really not much you can do because Shaco is as a champion, Shaco is more of an anti-carry. He relies on the enemy making mistakes rather than you forcing a play. Now, that's for most Shacos. I think I see myself as a bit of an aggressive Shaco player in some way. I like to go in with a risky clone or a risky box. So I think you can get a lot more out of the champion than what most people do with it.
When the laning phase gets to an end, Shaco his role starts pivoting to a more godly mind controlling one. It's here where none of the enemy lanes and players are safe anymore. Every bush, every objective, and every lane could have a Jack in the Box ready to pop and change the outcome of any fight. This is where Arnold takes the spotlight and starts to shine.
Then mid to late game, you really you rely on objectives. You set up objectives. You see that dragon is up soon, you rush to the jungle a minute in advance and you place your boxes all over because you know it's gonna get contested, and then you can turn around and win the fight, and that's the way to win the game.
But what makes Arnold his Shaco different from a Diamond Shaco? And how does the enemy their hate and toxicity become an advantage for Arnold in the game?
The mechanics of a Diamond Shaco player and the Challenger Shaco player are very different. If you're a Challenger Shaco player, you have fully mastered, for example, clone control and mind games. You really need to know how to get into people's heads. You need to know how to fake being the clone, and you need to know how to get enemies to chase you and to really set up fights in advance, to know exactly where you box, why you box, when to queue, and it's mostly the mechanics. It's a very mechanically complex champion.
Now, how do you achieve this kind of hatred? Is there a special formula to tilt enemy players? Arnold, his answer is pure gold.
I use a lot of emotes, and I use the two. I use a lot of emotes. I use the Sirocco whistle, like the Sirocco whistle, all the time because of the sound it makes. It's super annoying, but it's hilarious at the same time and very innocent. And what else do I do? Yeah, I take any skin but the Masked Shaco skin, because Masked Shaco skin does not have the worm emote. All the other skins do have the worm emote, and the worm emote is perfect for just trolling the enemy and just getting them annoyed. And if one person in the enemy team starts flaming in all chat, like "Oh, report our Tryndamere" or "Report our mid lane," uh, I just gaslight them because I mean I just say, "Oh, stop flaming," like "stop flaming," but I just misspell it. Or "Oh, I agree with you." I don't know. I just put some oil on the fire because I want to see their team burn. It's all mind games. The moment they start flaming each other, they don't focus on the game anymore, and you get yourself
Yeah.
a win.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, you want the enemy, yeah, and you want the enemy to hate you because most of the time you're trying to bait them into your boxes or trying to bait abilities. So the more tedious you are in game, the more you spam your shit, the more likely it is that those people will be like, "Oh my god, I need to get that Shaco mate. That Shaco is so annoying," and then they will greet, and you'll win the game, hopefully.
Arnold has some fantastic advice for any aspiring Shaco player and other support players out there looking to rank up or increase their skill. Let's hear it.
Um, any advice? Well, I would say if you want to learn Shaco, I know right now lane Shaco is really bad, but the best way of learning Shaco is playing him in lane, I think, solo lane, because that's where you get exposed to all his weaknesses. Top Shaco is currently on a 40% win rate, so mid lane is probably even lower, but sample size is too low. But I would say go into a normal game, go play lane Shaco, solo lane Shaco. You will suffer for sure, but you will get to know his mechanics much quicker than if you were to learn him in the jungle, for example, because you are exposed to everything, your timings, your books. You always need to have everything set up in advance, and you always need to know what you're doing or you're instantly dead. In the jungle, you don't have that. You're often just killing monsters or catching enemies by surprise, and it's a very different playstyle that doesn't expose you as much to the to all the risks and the um, escapes that Shaco's capable of.
You can find Arnold on
Twitch, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Discord, I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm on everything.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Sspirulinaa and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Inside the Mind. In case you haven't watched it already, you can see my previous video where we dive deep inside the mind of a Challenger SHACO player and how he manages to hit every ult. Thank you for watching and stay hydrated.